and talk to some of you guys in the chat before we go live. Again, welcome to work. Uh, I went into I keep on alluding to it, but I got into fitness just about a year and a couple months ago, last December, right around Christmas, and just now I finished a 610 boot camp class. I love it. So that's how we get our day started sometimes now. What are you guys talking about? Tammy, do you have Charles's page bookmarked on YouTube? Funny you ask. So check out a site that I put together. I did it with, Smerconish in mind. My last name, chicalo.com. For those of you seriously interested in like me as a person and what I do for every day, I actually put out content on a couple of different channels. First is well, I mean, this is for fun. This is for fun. And then the second is in the e-commerce world, particularly in the Amazon world, pertinent to today's headlines. A little bit about what's going on in that. So chicalo.com. You'll always find me there. You could click on the YouTube link. It takes you straight to my pages and also allows you to sign up for either newsletter. I'm sure you guys didn't know I had two, but I try to keep them separate for obvious reasons. God knows how one will, haunt the other. Anyways, I wanted to get to what I think is a much bigger picture, and you guys know that I've been talking about it and hinting about it over the past couple of weeks. First, when the killing of Alex Pretty took place, very few people, I should say, very few news outlets covered the buildup of military assets in the Persian Peninsula. And the Persian Gulf is a better. I don't know why I keep on saying peninsula. The Persian Gulf as a better term. Also, few covered how well a little more covered how Israel probably talked Trump into delaying a strike while there was unrest in Iran among the civilian population. I think it was either Vance or Rubio that said directly that the administration cares more about the nukes being under control in Tehran rather than the people. Um, so I think I believe them when they say the U.S. interest is more invested in taming the nuclear program rather than toppling the regime. Good segue into Admiral Stavridis' segment on Smerconish yesterday, where he said it's actually against our interest that I would say, I think you guys will correct me if I'm wrong, the liaison or the most tenured liaison of direct communication between our military and the Chinese are now out. A childhood friend of President Xi is now out as general, now out of the army. God knows what happens. And Admiral Stavridis with Smerconish went into a lot of detail on exactly what those repercussions may look like. It's been reported by Reuters, I believe, that cooperation is back on directly. At least during my morning briefing, that's sort of come full circle, and I guess the concerns of Stavridis are mitigated for now. Third, also along the same topic, this week or either this week or last night, sometime really recently, our last remaining nuclear treaty with Russia expired. The Trump administration is taking a position that they want to negotiate a new one. Trump is saying he wants one to be in place, which is already, I think, a bridge further than he professes to be, because just think of how isolationist his policies tend to be. Not all of them, but they tend to be isolationist. So he wants a deal in place. Now, that's one thing. How he's going to negotiate that, Ukraine, Iran, all together, Venezuela, it's all one formula here. I'm yeah, are there multiple facets to it? There are, but it's in my opinion, this is all the same. This is all the same enchilada that's going on. All of these are very different levers that we know of, but all coming to the same core, Russia. Let's throw in the US India trade agreement lowering their retaliatory tariffs, which on the business end has a huge impact. My thoughts on it. Um, a lot of people have to view this much more in a cooperative structure than isolated incidents. Uh, for those more inclined towards international relations, great. Um, I don't frankly know. Well, I guess the Greenland formula bakes into all of this because Trump would want cooperation with US control of Greenland if he's going to give the rest of the Europeans what they want with Russia, which then bakes into the China, Iran, Venezuela question. Like, think of it. This is wild stuff. Um, so a lot of levers here, a lot of levers here, a lot of interest. What I think is Trump is definitely trying to draw attention away from the mess he has domestically, but I think it's to a good end. We should have a treaty with Russia. I guess an Iranian regime with no nukes is better than another regime with you don't know what. It's been reported, I think I saw as recently as last week, that covers were already being built on top of the Fordo and the Nantaz sites, I believe, and the other one that we hit in the summer. So something's happening in Iran regarding those sites. And it's also inconclusive, as far as I can tell, how much damage we even did. Um, so that's the better part of Iran. Bringing India into our circle versus the East, great thing. Um, it's a great thing not only so that their interests are aligned with ours, but much better to have their economy tied to ours than the East. The Indians, I think, are the second largest exporter to us, right under China, I think. um, and I could tell you in my space, the manufacturing space, the branding space, are increasingly going to India. Um, no, they're not as optimized for it, but they make for it. They make up for that on margin. Not to mention the leverage it gives you in the BRICS alliance. Regarding Russia, Ukraine. I mean, do I think Trump will eventually get to a Russia-Ukraine agreement? I do. And Trump's pulling these levers. Maybe not all smart in a smart way, but he's pulling the levers, and I guess we're working towards a resolution there. Imagine we're under a President Vance and Russia-Ukraine's still going on. Jeez. So there's that. It's just I'm thinking just that's my 2 cents about thinking about all of these stories that are going on, and on a wider scale on what's going on in our world, just internationally. Um, Sean, I'm talking about actual Indians here, but I think that whole debacle of the Indians baseball team and the Redskins and stuff silly. Um, I mean, maybe it's insensitive, but the Washington football team, really? I mean, that's what they had to go to. Um, okay. Anyways, Speaking of which, I'm not. Oh no, Suen. I don't think Vance is a given, but I mean, given what Vance did in the Oval with Zelensky, and God knows when the Ukraine's going to have their next elections. I mean, wouldn't it be an interesting matchup as to see how Vance handles that if he's president? So okay, I didn't even give you my opinions on the tariffs. You want an opinion on the tariff? You got it. I'm going to send it out Sunday. I did a webinar right around Liberation Day for my e-commerce people about different strategies, not really an opinion piece, but different strategies that we could have used back in April to mitigate tariffs and their impact on our margins. Anyways, little off my game here. Veering back. Um, oh, Hamilton. I was talking. No, I was talking about imports, not exports. Um, at least to my familiarity, a lot more people are importing from India now, and China is the go-to. That's just where they go for product development and manufacturing, um, including Amazon themselves. By the way, good transition to my second story that I want to get to. Bezos is gutting a lot of the Washington Post's operations. Of course, it's his company. He gets to do whatever he wants, loosely speaking. He has a degree of fidelity and allegiance to his shareholders. He has one job alone: to increase value. That is capitalism. That is America. That is how the free market operates. Recently, it got into this whole spiel of you also have to take a political stance with whatever business operations you have. I don't agree with that. Politics is very separate from business. Look at my website. I mean, um, I keep the two literally divorced, and he's trying to do what CBS is doing, bringing Barry Weiss in. I cannot get Mark Halperin out of my mind in saying the press has something drastically wrong with it. You can see the way they treated the entire media landscape since 20, I would say 12ish, when I was in high school. I've said it before on this channel. I've watched the news intently since, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. And I've my parents and grandparents have told me what the right and the left spectrum kind of was, and that CNN was in the center. So I was watching for bias, knowing that bias in the media is bad. And just because I started watching so young, I saw the polarization of all the media outlets go more into their ideological camps, call them. Other people my age, and especially younger, they don't know what a true fact-based media is. Does canning a bunch of people who were there for a decade mean that you're making it better, more fact-based and centered? No. It means you're losing a lot of experience and a lot of what was. What was has its good and its bad elements. The good obviously being experience. There's just no other teacher for experience rather than those who've been through it. And I honestly believe that. I respect elders a lot because of, as my grandfather says, because of the color of their hair. It means something. But again, Bezos is running a business. I'm not going to lie. I have a left wing angel on my shoulder telling me the rich, the ultra wealthy, the uber wealthy buy press, buy the Washington Post, buy X, buy CBS. Maybe to further their pockets and control the narrative, maybe quite literally so? Is the motivation to support the bottom line of the Washington Post, or is it to support the agenda of Bezos himself? Um, I don't think the shakeup. So now, being in this environment of Trump having such a thumb on the scale of these big CEOs, it looks bad. But maybe, just maybe, he's taking a page out of the Ellison playbook and saying, let's fix media, or at least mainstream media or big media labels. By the, I don't know what, dozens, hundreds of thousands that people are flooding to digital first platforms. And that's exactly what Bezos wants to optimize for: digital first presence. And I mean, look at me. My main source of news is the Michael Smerconish program. It's not my only. I I consulted Reuters, BBC, CNN, and Fox just this morning, getting my juices flowing and thinking about what I'm gonna opine on and tell you guys about. So yeah, that's my 2 cents about the Washington Post stuff. Um, I think I think we wait and see. The CBS stuff, I mean, right now there was that Barry Weiss story that all I can think of since Barry Weiss was appointed editor in chief. She withheld that ICE story that eventually ran. It obviously made it out before her pulling it off the air on the US airwaves. But I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing. What was achieved, what wasn't achieved by her doing that. Um, I didn't think anything egregious. Um, my 2 cents about it. But Barry Weiss has, in my opinion, political clout to claim that she's trying to bring some level of nuance and centrism to CBS. Barry is a nuanced and center-ish kind of person. And that I could say I know personally. So I could go into more of that. Sean, no, they ran sort of like they didn't run when there was some big event airing opposite of it. There was like a backup kind of segment that they ran instead of it. So that's where we're coming from. Desert Sunset. Lots of WAPO subscribers are canceling after yesterday. They always do. They always do, right? How many people unsubscribe to the New York Times? I know 3 households in my family that used to receive the New York Times and canceled it just because of how left or woke they became. I honestly can't blame them, but I could blame them for not being exposed to alternative points of view. After all, they are the New York Times. Fun fact for those who really follow my passion: Open to Debate has a fantastic debate called "Did New York Times Lose Its Way?" Oh my God, amazing. I'm gonna cover one more thing and then we'll go into comments. Trump RX. That is, I'm elated. I'm elated. Insurance doesn't cover every medication, and if they do, it's not clear why, when I pick up a certain medication at that pharmacy, am I charged $180 something, another pharmacy 90 something dollars, and then I'll give them a shout out. I absolutely love what they do. The Mark Cuban Drug Store, which is an online store that produces basically generic drugs I pay $8 to $12 because they make A, the generic version, B, they take 3% off because you don't pay a credit card fee. You have to pay by debit card or e-check or something like that. And they ship it to your door. What I mean, the whole medication system is so, I don't know, screwed up in this country. I'm not telling you guys anything new, but I took a look at the site, and I think the way it works is if you don't want to go through insurance to get a certain medication that's listed on trumprx.gov, you give the pharmacy, I guess there's the bin number and an RX number or so, and then they have to pay out of pocket. But number one, it's predictable what they're paying out of pocket. Number two, it's somewhat universal, somewhat. I mean, thank you, government, for negotiating these rates with the big pharma. Like, great. Like, okay, every American has a coupon now. You are paying out of pocket. It doesn't go towards your deductible. I'm sure it goes against your, I don't know, your health savings accounts and stuff like that, which is always a plus. But I mean, great. It doesn't cost us anything. What did we even? I mean, for those with TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, I don't know what you'd have against it. You could still go through your insurance if you want, but otherwise, he's bringing down drug prices. Who can argue against it? The Wegovy pill. I mean, how many of us know somebody that's affiliated with that right now? And right now, Hims actually released either a GLP-1 or an alternative Wegovy pill for $50 instead of $150. Can you imagine how much more accessible that's going to be? Of course, they're being sued for it. Let's see what happens there. And you can go into the website. There's a very informative FAQ that I went through last night when he unraveled it with Dr. Oz. So interesting there. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes. Let's hit the comments section. Sean, you're waiting for GLP-3. I don't even know what GLP-1 and 2 are. So how's that? I don't know what it stands for, but I think I know what it does. Alta, you can't go through insurance. It'll be denied when you have to appeal. Then when you're sick, who has the energy or time? Are you saying that it's good because of that, or something else? Let me know what you mean. Hamilton, Trump RX is actually utilizing good RX technology, cash-only payments, bypassing pharmacies, no middleman expertise to ensure issues of over-medication, contrary to effects and records. Well, they're using, they're not bypassing pharmacies. Pharmacies still have deals with the big pharma companies that they're getting the medications from. At least that's what's in the FAQ on the site. Again, I'm directing you there, trumprx.gov. Check out the FAQs. That was informative. That was what I understood from yesterday. Harvey, there's an answer to all health problems, insurance, drugs, care. It's called cooperative attempt by our elected reps to come up with the answer. Is the answer nationalized healthcare? I mean, you saw what it was like to pass the healthcare mandate and Obamacare in 2009 or 2010, whatever that was. Nationalized healthcare, I don't think is the right way to do it. I would like to learn more about what the hell the Republicans are recommending by giving subsidies directly to the people. I haven't heard a clear idea about that, but Trump just yapped about it in the Oval Office a couple days ago. Sean, insurance companies will often decline a valid claim knowing that a high percentage will not pursue it. Oh my God, you don't want to know what I'm in the middle of. To me, that is a criminal action. Watch this. Okay, you guys know I was away. And when I came back home, I had an envelope. I'm not joking. It's over there, but it's under a bunch of stuff. This thick of the second appeal for something for my son with a cleft palate, saying that his overnight stay was not medically necessary. An infant who underwent a palate repair operation that was under anesthesia is not being covered for an overnight hospital stay because it wasn't medically necessary. Are you shitting me? Like, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Believe me. Believe me, we're going to talk about that. Things are in the works on that. Anyways, son's doing great. Love him. Cutest kid in the world. We are way ahead of that. I have not, but fun fact, I might. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I know people who are being really disserviced by national health, really disserviced, especially in Europe. That's where they're based out of. Um, let's see where else we got. I have a bunch of good mornings. I scrolled up too high, I guess. Let's see. Alrighty. Guys, I'm gonna have to cut this a few minutes early. I have an urgent matter. Someone's ringing my bell. So, anyways, wishing you all a great weekend. We'll be in touch for Sunday. Stay tuned to your emails. For all of you rewatching, please hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you Sunday in either a live or a pre